So here at the Del Mar racetrack, we've just had the Breeders' Cup draw. City of Troy is in stall 3. Lake Victoria, the Star Juvenile, is in stall 1. And Notable Speech, the 2,000 guineas winner, will be in stall 6 in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Now, Bill Mott is here. He trains Warlike Goddess, who's got stall 4 in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, a horse who finished 3rd behind Rebel's Romance in the Breeders' Cup Turf. This looks a great spot for your horse.
Well, she's a nice filly, and we had a good draw. We drew the 4-hole, which is good. A 3-turn race here. You know, at least you're not going to get parked out on the outside fence on the first turn or two. So the filly's doing well. She's making her 4th Breeders' Cup appearance, and hopefully the 4th one will be the charm.
By all accounts, from what I've been hearing from you, you are very particularly happy with the way she's working on track.
She breezed very well here. You know, she breezed well when she was 3rd in her first attempt here, and she came into it, she breezed well over the track. We breezed her on the dirt, and she did well, and we have a very good line on her, how she breezes on the dirt ordinarily, and it looked very good the other day.
Can I ask you, Bill, about just the draw in general for us Europeans? And can I just ask you about the Breeders' Cup Classic, where all the talk is City of Troy? Todd Pletcher said he wanted fierceness out wide. He's got that. Is stall 3 a good draw for a horse like City of Troy, who's going to try and go forward, but of course is European, and as you know, we tend to miss the break?
Well, I think a lot of I don't know the horse. You know, I haven't watched that much from him.
You will, Bill.
Yeah,
you will.
Yeah. Well, I know he's a magnificent looking horse, and I'm sure they're very, very high on him. But, you know, probably maybe not the best draw for him if he, you know, if he gets out-footed early and gets a lot of dirt, you know.
So is the fierceness idea of being out wide, I mean, obviously he's going to go forward, we kind of all know that. But if he was inside and he just misses it a fraction, you get a bit of dirt in your face if you want to be a front runner. Is that the idea?
Exactly. You know, yeah. You usually, being outside, it gives you more options. You know, when you're on the inside, it forces you to try to go a little more to maintain your position.
And Bill, can I just ask you, in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, we've got a couple of real good horses, but they're drawn out in the car park. I'm presuming that's terrible.
In the sprint, in the turf sprint?
Turf sprint.
In the turf sprint, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're like in LA.
I think being, you know, in the dirt sprint, it's a different story because it's a one-turn race. But in the turf sprint, it's probably not no advantage to be out that wide.
And Bill, just as one of the world's great trainers, is there one horse, whether it's one of yours or any other horse, that you can't wait to see run in these championships? One that everyone's really looking forward to?
Well, I think I would be anxious to see City of Troy, actually, because there's a lot of mystique about how he will, adapt to the dirt and adapt to our top dirt horses.
I mean, it's great, really, isn't it? Because, I don't know, if Justify or someone had come over and run on turf at Ascot, it would have been incredible, and that's basically what he's trying to do here.
Right, it is, and I give the connections a lot of credit for trying and taking a shot and reaching out and trying to do something that he's never done before.
We really hope that the Goddess wins the war this week. We wish you well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. That is Bill Mott. There's a bit of a lowdown on the draw, one of the world's great trainers, and he knows what he's talking about. I just want to rattle through one or two of the post positions for you. Let's start with the mile. And as I was saying, Notable Speech, perfect in stall 6. In fact, we've got cracking draws in the mile. Noticeable Speech is in 6. Ramatuelle on the inside. That actually, when I say we've got great draws, for Ramatuelle, that might be a problem because you know she's going to come with a late run. She's going to be dropped in from stall 1. It's never easy to be dropped in from stall 1. Porta Fortuna, she's going to go forward from stall 7, and she stays. So I think Porta Fortuna, I should say, really a Notable Speech are good draws. Maybe Ramatuelle, it's not going to be quite so easy from the inside berth for her. What about the Filly's Turf? Well, Lake Victoria in stall 1. I mean, that is really interesting because we kind of know she's the best horse, don't we? The Cheveley Park winner. Stall 1, she cannot afford to miss the break from stall 1. Well, I mentioned the turf sprint. Bradsell in 12. Big Evs in 11. The only good news for them is that Cogburn will go forward is in stall 9, but they look very, very bad draws for me. I'm going to throw one at you here that I think is going to run a belter at long odds. 10-1 morning line, Star of Mystery for Godolphin. Terrible, terrible ride stateside last time. Got lots of experience from Dubai. I think that horse will run a lot better than people think. In the turf, we've got Wingspan out wide in 10, Rebels Romance, he's won it before in 11 for Godolphin. Then towards the inside, I think JRB, Sean Levy, will be delighted with stall 5, Luxembourg in stall 4. But probably of ours there, JRB, the best drawn of all the European contenders. And I think that just about wraps it up from me on the draw for now. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Bill Mott giving you the lowdown. But if you're a Brad Sell or Big Ez fan, oh, mountains to climb in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.